Have you decided yet who will present you on your induction day? And if so, would you be willing to share that with us?
Yeah, one of the misses from this past weekend is I really wanted to spend some time talking to the other Hall of Famers and ask them about who did you decide to be your presenter and why? And I forgot because I got a little bit sidetracked. I was sort of in awe of a lot of these guys. And so I haven't made a decision, and I haven't really even spent enough time thinking about it to have narrowed it down. So that's definitely on my to-do list.
Do you have a lot of really great candidates? I'm guessing that you have mulled over a number of people who could do that for you.
Yeah, it's crazy, Mary Kay. I haven't really thought about it all that much. And I know for some guys, the few guys that I've talked to about it, it was really obvious because they had one person that was in their life, their entire NFL career, whether it be like an owner or a coach or like sometimes a teammate or a friend. And it was sort of a no-brainer for them. But for a guy that had 9 offensive coordinators and 2 owners and 6 head coaches and like a revolving door of quarterbacks, I've had a lot of people that have touched my life and have been a huge part of this journey for me. But so I think that makes it a little challenging to kind of narrow it down and figure out who's that one person that I want to make sure is presenting me and that I would be the most excited about having up on stage.
Maybe all 20 quarterbacks could each say one sentence.
Well, I think somebody told me that Billy Manziel would be a great candidate because certainly the people in Cleveland would love to hear from him.
Did you do the bust? I know you sat for the jacket and the ring and stuff. So like, What was that whole experience like? Did it make it feel, I guess, more real that you were going through that process?
It certainly did make it feel real. And I think the bust measurements was probably the moment of the measurement, what they call it, sizing Saturday, that made it the most real, because you sit with the sculptor who's a world famous sculptor who does a lot of the busts, and he's been doing them for a while, and he's measuring like, every little nose hair that you got and the giant ears I got. And he's like, oh man, don't think we've had a measurement that size before. But he's taking pictures, and then you get a chance to look at some of the work that he's done. And as kind of like a little bit of a history nerd, he's the first master sculptor that I ever met. And so I was really interested if he'd studied the works of like Da Vinci and all the great sculptors from Europe. And like, I just was like picking his brain about, hey, have you ever been to Florence? Have you been to Rome? Like, what's the most amazing sculpture that you've ever seen? And like, how do they give you perspective on like your own work? And he probably thought I was a pretty big nerd for asking all these questions, but I was really fascinated. And the process is they take your measurements, they take your pictures of your face, and then in April, they'll have like a clay mold somewhat carved out. And then you fly to his studio in Utah and you sit there for, I don't know, 4 or 5 hours. And then he kind of finishes the details and makes sure that you're happy with what he's done. And then they take that, and I think they move that into bronze somehow.